Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to look at the Arsenal player ratings versus Sheffield United, and we're going to look at how the Gunners got on individually in their Premier League clash with Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. So the first person on the list is Bernd Leno, and he was not really tested on the day, but he will be glad to have ended his 13-game wait for a clean sheet after a run of poor form in between the sticks, and I think he will be a delighted man after he saw 0 for his team's goals conceded, and he is someone that should be confident for the game versus Slavia Prague, and for his performance today, it's fair to say he deserves a 6. So the next person on the list is Callum Chambers, and it was less of a marauding display than what we saw against West Ham United a couple of weeks ago. But he looked defensively solid yet again, and it was outpaced on occasion but made up for it with some smart recoveries. And I think Callum Chambers may be the right back versus Slavia Prague, and for his performance today, he deserves a 6. So the next person on the list is Rob Holding, and he was vocal as always and commanding at the back, and he was rarely asked to do much by Sheffield United's meagre attack, but it was still a solid display from the Englishman, and I think he has solidified his position in the right centre-back position, and he's still offering vocally what David Luiz has been doing in that right centre-back position, so Mikel will have no headaches. So for his performance, he deserves a 6. So the next person on the list is Pablo Mori, and the Spaniard just oozes composure each time he comes onto the pitch, and while hardly being tested today, it was a sea of calmness in a back line that has been pretty choppy in recent times, and I do wish to see him start versus Slavia Prague alongside maybe Gabriel Martinelli, but it all depends on Mikel Arteta. But for his performance, he deserves a 6. So the next person on the list is Granit Xhaka, and he played bizarrely out of position at left back, but he did do a good job in switching the play from an irregular position. He hardly got forward, but what we did expect from the Swiss international, who did well under the circumstances, and I think Mikel Arteta kind of tweaked the formation where it's just a back three with Rob Holding, Pablo Mori and Granit Xhaka, and Xhaka just puts Ping's ball from his position, but for his performance he deserves a 6. So the next person on the list is Thomas Partey, and he was given space to dictate the play in the first half, and he showed exactly what he can do when given the chance, as he spread the play beautifully even if he was caught in possession on the odd occasion, and it was a lovely free ball to Alexandre Lacazette for the third, which was a highlight of a much improved display from the Ghanaian. And we can clearly say that if you give Thomas Partey a run of games, if you make him that mainstay in that midfield, if you give him the ball, if he can get used to the other players around him, we have a top class midfielder on our hands, and for his performance today, he deserves a 7. So the next person on the list is Dani Ceballos. From the ridiculous last week against Liverpool to the sublime against Sheffield United today, admittedly, the quality of opposition was far lower, but the Spaniard's performance was emblematic of why he's so frustrating to watch. He was awful at times, but when his tricks and flicks come off, he's a pleasure to watch. And I think if Dani Ceballos just has a little bit of confidence, if he has that passion and determination to play for this football club, you can see the best of him. You saw how many flicks he was doing on the pitch. He was just a beauty to watch, and I thought he's someone that would definitely make it into the Arsene Wenger squad back in the days, but for his performance, he deserves a 7. Next up, we got Nicolas Pepe, and the Ivorian pressed well and was heavily praised for it by the Arsenal coaching staff watching in the stands. A few corners that failed to beat the first man left a little to be desired, but a solid enough display overall, and the highlight was definitely the run in the build-up to Gabriel Martinelli's goal. And I think if Bukayo Saka is injured, I think we've still got a decent enough player to play in that right wing position, and hopefully Nicolas Pepe can just replicate that form and build a relationship with maybe the Callum Chambers, and hopefully do the same versus Slavia Prague if he gets the opportunity to play, and that's Mikel Arteta's decision, but for his performance he deserves a 7. So the next person on the list is Bukayo Saka, and he was brought into the number 10 position today, and he seemed to thrive with the freedom of being allowed to drift where he liked, and he was tired a bit in the second half though, before going off with an injury that you can only assume was as a result of fatigue. and also will hope he's fit for the crucial game against Slavia Prague now. And I thought Bukayo Saka had the freedom, he was making good link-up play with Nicolas Pepe, and I thought that if you give Bukayo Saka the ball, he's only thinking forward, he's never thinking backwards, he thinks forward and tries to create something with the attacking players ahead of him. And I thought his performance, I think it's fair to say he deserves a 7. Next up we got Gabriel Martinelli, and how on earth did he not start against Slavia Prague? The Brazilian is exactly the kind of direct presence Arsenal need, playing with the urgency required to make stuff happen each time he picks up the ball on the left hand side. No player deserved a goal more than him. If he's dropped in place of Willian again on Thursday, then serious questions have to be asked, and just give this guy the opportunity. I think we've got two generational talents of the former Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka, and you might tell me, oh, you're too soon to say that they're generational talents, but when you see a player by the eye, you can see that he wants to be the next Ronaldo. He even said it himself, and even though he might not be the next Cristiano Ronaldo, he has the ability to at least get as far as that stature, and I think he will be a crucial player for this team, but give him the opportunities, so he deserves a 9 for his performance. Next up we got Alexandre Lacazette. After missing Arsenal's biggest chances last Thursday, the Frenchman showed great composure to finish off a pure Wenger ball goal. He was dropped well to link play and appeared to grow in confidence after the goal to have a good overall performance before adding a second late on. And I thought Alexandre Lacazette was calm and composed, because at the start I was thinking maybe he looks a bit rough, he looks a bit shaky, but he looked very good on the ball. He was linking up the play, he was dropping in deep to make sure he can link the play very well, and I thought those 2 goals will do him a world of confidence, and hopefully he can maintain this in the games to come. For his performance, he deserves an 8. And now we move on to the substitutes, and we only have Willian to pretty much talk about, because Willian might have been worried by the performances of the younger players put into the side ahead of him in the day, but he was solid enough after coming on though, and may well start at number 10 on Thursday if Arsenal's injuries pile up. But for his performance, he deserves a 6. And in terms of Mohamed El-Neni and Eddie Nketiah, they both came on too late to influence the game, so they do not deserve a rating. So these are my player ratings for the game versus Sheffield United. But other than that, guys, remain blessed. Stay tuned for the next video, and peace.